but about Brian Wilson, of course, because oh my god, there's so much I want to talk about. But yeah, so I listened to Sweet Mountain by Spring for the first time today. Bro, like, I had no words, like, the whole song was so good, and I was like, oh my god, like, I can't even explain it. Like, it was so good. I was listening to the Beach Boys podcast, Sail On. If you haven't listened to that, it is so good. I'll talk about it in the post as well. Oh, sorry to breathe. But yeah, like, they're this Beach Boys. Hi, I haven't popped on here in a little bit, I guess, like, story-wise, but ooh, do I have to go on a music rage for you today. I'm gonna make a post about it either today or tomorrow, when I get the chance, because I have other stuff I want to do. Their whole career and everything like that, and it's really good. Like, I really enjoyed listening to it, and I'm so like I have so many, like, episodes that I need to catch up on, but I was listening to one over Phil Spector, one over the Wrecking Crew, and I just finished the one about All Summer Long this morning, and then I got to the one over the Honeys in Spring, and it's, oh my god, it was, as soon as I heard Sweet Mountain, I couldn't stop listening to it. Like, I literally had maybe, like, I don't know, 20 or 30 minutes left in the episode, and I could have easily finished it during my second class that I had today, but I didn't finish it. You know why? I kept going back to Sweet Mountain and just replaying the crap out of it, because it's so good. And I was like, there's a certain part in it that just, like, so I was thinking about it, and I was like, what is it about this part that's so good, like, that I find that's really good? Sorry, I had coffee, so I'm trying to, like, explain what I'm thinking right now. Anyways, but it was almost like it was I heard, like, I was really listening. I turned it up all the way. I was very intently trying to listen to, like, figure out what it was, like, that I could put into words, because I was trying to find the term, and so I was listening. It's like, it's almost as if I could tell that it was, like, I could hear it. And so, like, I was thinking about it. I was like, you know, there's that kind of effect in a few other songs that I could think of. Like, it's like a vocal, like, delay in a way, like, the effect of it. And it sounded really good. And I was like, wow, you know, because it's so good. And I could hear that it was a delay, because it's just, like, I can't really explain it, but I could, that same kind of, like, I'm trying to think, like, I'm not good with explaining things, but it's like, you know, that kind of vocal delay, like, I can't think of it, but you, when it goes into, like, you know, like, that, like, the best part of the song, honestly. I got my best friend Morgan, she loves that song now, because when I first heard it, I played it for her, like, a little while later, I think, because we had physics together sometimes, and she was so impressed with it the first time she heard it too, and I was like, I know this song is so good. But yeah, it's like that kind of, like, the sound, like, it kind of, like, surrounds you in a way, like, when you hear it, like, it just, I'm not good at explaining it, I just know how it sounds. But, like, I was thinking about that, and then even, like, the one part in Dennis's song Thoughts, in the Sail On podcast, again, highly recommend. This is not sponsored, but yeah, it was really interesting because I hadn't thought about it before, but it was literally the three, like, best producers in music in the 60s was Phil Spector, George Martin, and Brian Wilson. Like, the three of them were, like, the most, like, creative and influential and innovative, like, producers, like, at that time, you know? And so I was just, like, I was keeping that in mind, and then when I heard Sweet, yeah, I had to come on and talk about it, because it's so good, and it's so, like, I'm gonna talk about this in my post as well, but, especially, like, listening to the Phil Spector episode from Mountain, because Brian did, like, produce a lot of different, like, a few different artists and stuff like that, but he did, you know, both the Honeys and, in Spring, and so, like, when I, because they're, like, okay, so, Freddie basically got me back into, like, being very, like, obsessed with music, because I've always loved it, like, especially as a kid, but I didn't think impressed I was with it. He amazes me so much. Like, okay, so, like, for me, honestly, the two most influential people in music for myself have been Freddie Mercury and Brian Wilson. Like, when I got to middle school, and even, like, a few years into high school, or at least the early years, I didn't think it was, like, cool to talk about, so I didn't really talk about it much anymore. But, of course, I still listen to it and stuff. But, especially, like, when I started listening to the Beach Boys in, you know, like, the fall of 2019, Brian really, like, opened my eyes to how much, like, how far, it's so cool. Like, there was so many things I'd never thought about before, and he really, like, opened my eyes to it, and I was like, wow. And Surf's Up, like, that song changed my life. Like, the first time I heard it, I cried. Like, I'm not even exaggerating. Like, as soon as it got into the coda, it was so beautiful. Like, I was literally just doing my A-push homework, and I had to stop and just listen, and I closed my eyes, and I just cried. It was so beautiful, honestly. Like, I probably sound like I'm about to cry, but I'm sorry. It's also the caffeine, but, like, it was the most incredible Beach Boys song I've ever heard, and it'll always be my favorite one, because I feel like that's, like, the epitome of, like, you know, just the greatness of Brian Wilson, honestly. Like, it's so... But yeah, sorry for the rant. I literally said this was about to be a music rant, so you could skip through this or whatever. You could choose to listen to it or not. I don't really care. I just wanted to come on and say this, because, you know, it's my account, so I'm gonna do what I want with it. But, yeah, so you will be getting a Brian Wilson admiration type post sometime soon, whenever I sit down and write it, because there's a lot that I want to say, and I know that I'll hit the caption limit for it. I don't really care. I want to talk about Brian, but I'll figure out when I want to do, like, the Smile Sessions post. But don't even get me started on Smile. I love that album so much. Like, it is... I'll do it, but yeah, it's just, like, I've wanted to talk about the Smile Sessions as well, and I'd written up, like, a caption for it, but it got deleted, so I'll rewrite it, but I want to, like, that's basically all I wanted to say, so, yeah, rant over. But, of course, I also say that because, the first song I heard off of Smile, I think, actually, like, listening to it, I guess, would have been Surf's Up. But either way, every single song in that album is just absolutely the same, like, affinity and passion for it that I do. So it's really nice. But yeah, that's all I wanted to say, rant about. That's why it's in the music rant highlight thing that I made. But yeah, so much to say, and you will be getting that post soon, because I'm gonna go on a tangent. Woo! I'm very excited to write this. I don't think you understand how much I love talking about music, and it's so, like, I love that I started talking about it here, because I've met a lot of people that share. Absolutely amazing. Like, it kind of makes me sad, you know, that it never got finished, but, you know, it, you know, remained to be, like, you know, one of the most legendary unreleased rock albums of all time, you know. But it's just, I'm definitely gonna tag them, so if you're interested in the podcast, I think it's so good. Sometimes I really can't sit and listen to like, people talk sometimes, because I want to hear music, but their podcast is really... Also, real quick, the podcast that I was talking about, Sail On, I will definitely, like, make sure to, like, mention it, or at least, you know, like, tag the account or whatever, because they do have an account on Instagram. If I remember, like, the ad, it's, like, Sail On Sounds or something like that, but, yeah, really good. I can't talk, but, like, it's so good. So, if you're, like, kind of thinking about, you know, hey, maybe I should get into the Beach Boys or something like that, you should definitely check out this podcast. It is so good. I've already learned so many things that I didn't know before, even just, like, really getting into the music. There's still stuff that I didn't know, so I found it really interesting. But yeah, so I will definitely add. This part is my favorite. This is the one I was talking about. This is Sweet Mountain, by the way. That. Did you hear that? Did you hear that? Sorry, I have to stop talking. Design assignment. I stopped and I was like, I looked at my phone and I was shook. I could not believe. Oh, Brian's production. That's exactly what I'm talking about. That, as soon as that comes in, I was like, I was sitting in class. I was, trying to finish up my little graphic. It's literally not praised enough. Like, I feel like it's not. Like, it needs to be so hyped up. So much. Like, I can't wait to talk about this. I'm gonna write a whole essay. I don't care. I will, because I enjoy writing that stuff. But yeah, so, like I said, I had to, because I was like, oh, I want to listen to this again. I listened to this when I was driving. Like, I'm from like a completely unbiased like standpoint, it sounds so good. It's so to pick up my friends because we went for coffee, and then I was listening to it when I went home or when I was driving home. But it's just it's so good. I'm not even trying to like. So Raid's over, like, for real this time. Sweet Mountain is good, and if you haven't heard it, you need to listen to it because I literally, it's so good. It's so good. Anyways, I'm seriously, I'm done. I'm getting off Instagram. I have other stuff I want to go do. Okay, so it kind of looks like just the little last bit that I did, it might have kind of got out of order, I guess, video-wise, because there was one of me talking and then one of, like, the track still playing before I'd paused it. But either way, that's not the point. The point